Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to try to find the area when there's more than two intersection points. Now, as you can see here, our first function is f of x, 4x to the cubed minus 16x, g of x equals 0. So in order to find the intervals analytically, you have to equal them to each other and then equal them 0. So as you can see here, I factored it out. We have our two equations here. So the first one, 4x equals 0. You solve for x and you got x equals 4. The second one is x squared minus 4 equals 0. You added 4, and then you solve for x, and then you got x equals plus or minus negative 2. Well, plus or minus 2, yeah. So then what you do is you have to set up your integration signs. The first one is from negative 2 to 0, and as you can see here in the graph, from negative 2 to 0, it's f of x, that's the top line, so that one's going to go first, minus g of x, which is 0. And then you add that with this part, so then it's from 0 to 2, and as you can see here, g of x is on top, so it's 0 minus f of x. So then you have to take the antiderivative of these. So then what you do is over here, the antiderivative of 4x cubed minus 16x. Now as you can see, now you add 1 here, divide by 4, and it's x, and then here you add 2, divide 16 by 2, it's 8x squared. And this is for negative 2 and 0. So now what you're going to do is you're going to plug in 0, 0 to this one first. So it's 0, obviously you know that it's 0 because you plug them in here, they're going to cancel out. So we skip that step, so then it's minus, and then you're going to plug in negative 2 into this. It's going to be negative 2 to the 4th minus 8 negative 2 squared. Okay, so then you solve, and negative 2 to the 4th, 2, 4, 8, 16. And then negative 2 to the 2nd is 4, and then negative 8 times 4 is negative 32. So then 0 minus negative 16. So this first part is just equal to 16. But that's the first side. Now we have to look at this side. It's better to do each side so that way you don't get confused, because then you see so many pluses and you're like, ah. So now we're going to do this one. Now you can distribute, and it's going to be negative 4x cubed plus 16x. You have to take the antiderivative of this, and it's x to the 4th divided by 4. You get negative x to the 4th, and then plus, add 1, and it's x squared divided by 2, 16. So you get 8, and this is 2 to 0. So now you're going to do the same thing. You're going to plug in 2 first. So it's negative 2 to the 4th plus 8 2 squared. And we know, of course, when we plug in the 0, 0, so we can just that there. So now 2 to the 4th is 16. And then it's negative times a negative. And then 2 to the 2nd is 4. 4 times 8 is 32. And when you add negative 16 plus 32, that equals 16. So now you know this side is 16, this side is 16. So when you add 16 and 16, essentially your area should be 32 units squared. Oops. Units squared. And that's it. So now we know that this part is 16, this part is 16, and together they make 32.